Hi yogis, I'm Nicole. Welcome to my yoga time. Today's yin practice is a part of the Meridian series and we're working with the stomach and the spleen meridians. So the emotion associated here is that of worry and anxiety, and the element is the earth element. So we'll be using an earth mudra today, Prithvi mudra, where you'll connect your ring finger to the tip of your thumb. So I will encourage you to take this mudra throughout today's practice. So the primary digestive organ is the stomach, receiving food and commencing the process of assimilation and distribution. So the stomach chi nourishes our energy on all levels. The usable nutrients are sent to the spleen and the unusable ones are sent to the small intestine. The spleen is considered a source of life for all other organs as it extracts the nutrients from the food and nourishes the body via the circulatory and lymphatic systems. It plays a very important role in our cellular health and our immunity. When the spleen chi is in balance, our life cycles are harmonious, such as your sleep patterns, bodily rhythms, and also clear thinking. So I have 2 blocks for this practice, and I've also got a bolster which I will use for 2 postures. So if you don't have a bolster, I'm going to give you an alternative that you can do otherwise. There are 45 acupressure or acupuncture points along the stomach meridian, and today we're working with number 36. This one is also known as the lower tomb. So on the legs, we're going to use 4 finger widths down from your kneecap. And then moving to the outer boundary of your shin, you should be able to feel a very slight hollow or depression. And for many, it will feel a little tender. So just applying a little pressure there. Feel free to find a circular motion or just direct downward pressure. And this point is said to help us feel grounded and stable. And this point is also helpful for nauseousness, fatigue, and stress. So if you need more time here, please take it. I'm going to move to the other leg. Again, looking for that very slight depression on the outer boundary of your shin. My other side was a little easier to find. Oh, there it is. So of course, if you need longer with these energy release points, feel free to pause the class and take your time. One is found for when you're ready. Let's begin our practice. So the first posture will come down onto our backs. You'll need your block close by. Moving into a supported bridge pose. So up to you whether you place the block on the flat side underneath your tailbone, or if it feels okay for your back, you can move it to the second height. We are going to take a hold of the right leg. So either hands on top of the shin or underneath the knee if you need to. And only if it feels okay for your back, straighten and relax the left leg. So if there's any catching or niggling in your lower back, don't try to stretch through it. Bend that knee and just be. So as always with your yin practice, we're not looking for the maximum stretch. If you've gone to your edge, you've gone too far where it may cause injury and discomfort. So as you settle into this pose, relaxing your forehead, feel free to close the eyes down. Gently place the tip of the tongue where the teeth meet the roof of the mouth. Inviting a gentle tone through the back of your throat, Ujjayi breath. And finding your diaphragmic belly breath. As you inhale, feel the navel rise towards the thigh. Taking a moment to pause before you exhale, and the navel falls towards the spine. And do try to relax this right hip flexor. Try to soften it. Take one more breath. And then bending the left leg, releasing the right. We'll change sides straight away. Be with your breath. On your next inhalation, bending the right leg, release the left. So option to take a few moments here with both knees bent, or if it feels okay for your back, you can straighten and relax both legs. Arms can be by your side or above the head. And I encourage you to take the mudra here, connecting your ring finger to your thumb. And observing the body rising and falling with the ebb and flow of your breath. And if those arms are overhead, let's float them down. Those legs are straight, bending in the knees. Let's try and squeeze the heels in towards one another, tone the lower belly, and then lift up the heels and the hips. Remove your block, lower down with those heels high, just one vertebrae at a time. When you touch down, cup the hands over the knees, arms as straight as you inhale, and simply bend the elbows when you exhale. If you need longer with this motion, please take it. Otherwise, we're going to just raise the feet a little, create a right angle through the backs of your legs. Try to stack your knees directly above your hips and push your back down into the mat. So just a very tiny, soft amount of core work here to help restabilize the spine. after that long back bend. So actively pressing your back down, lower belly firm and engaged. Jaw is relaxed. Inhale and exhale, lower those feet down. So from here, move the hips just a touch to the left, straighten your right leg. So we're going to take the left leg over into a twist. Now you have the option to keep the knee bent and rest it on your block, or if you prefer, you can straighten the leg. So cat pulling its tail here, let's bring our awareness now to the right leg. Move the right leg back and then bend the knee and take a hold of the foot. Now, of course, if you can't reach the foot with ease, you can always use a strap or a belt. One of my favorite poses, it's a lovely twist with a back bend. And do remember to pause, to hold the breath at the top of the inhalation. And again, if it's comfortable for you, at the bottom of the exhalation. So you're finding 4 parts to your breath. The inhalation, the pause or the retention, the exhalation, the pause or breath retention. Taking one more inhalation here. And as you begin to exhale, release the right foot. Return to your back. Hips moving a touch to your right. And we'll move to the other side. Left leg comes back, bend the knee, and take a hold of the foot. Of course, if you do need to lighten this pose, you can always prop your head up. Observing the 4 parts to your breath. And taking one more inhalation. As you exhale, releasing the pose, returning to your back. So we're going to come up to seated. Of course, if you've any concerns with your back, just roll to one side and bring yourself up. Otherwise, for a little more core, hands underneath the bottom. Straighten those legs, pressing the balls of the feet up towards the ceiling. Lifting the head up off the mat and slowly lowering those legs down. Drishti is your toes. Hover those feet an inch above the mat before hinging your way up. So the next posture is a wide-legged seated forward fold. Now, a few options here. Can be quite a tricky pose for many. If you don't have much range of motion through your hips, you can always recline. Take your legs up against the wall and let those legs fall out wide. If you're tight through your hips, sit up a little taller on your block. You can always bring the legs a little closer and bend those knees and place blocks or rolled up towels underneath for support. And you might find that you're just staying upright. You might not have that hinging range of motion through the hips. If you do, we're going to come forward. So you can stack your blocks, lay your bolster, or maybe just one block is all you need. Coming down when you're ready. And again, don't look for your maximum stretch. That's a danger zone in yin. It is possible to overstretch, putting too much strain on our ligaments. And feel free to rest those hands wherever they are, or if you're in a position where you can turn the palms up, connect the ring and thumb fingers once again. Keeping the jaw relaxed. Tip of the tongue is still placed where the teeth meet the roof of the mouth. And breathing into both legs. And let's follow your next inhalation coming out of the pose. So use your hands to help those legs come together. I like to give them a little squeeze. So your next posture will be your Sphinx pose. Now I will show a variation with your bolster. Of course, if you don't have a bolster, just coming down into your standard Sphinx. So coming down onto your navel, resting on those forearms. Now, if your lower back is a little catchy here, you can always move your elbows further away from the ribs or take the feet a little wider to alleviate that sensation. If you do have a bolster, or even if you want to improvise with a pillow or a rolled up towel, you'll need your 2 blocks as well. We'll place the bolster across the mat, allowing your navel to rest on the bolster and forearms coming to those blocks. So I like to keep the chin parallel here to the floor and just bring the tips of the fingers to touch. Though if you feel that you need to support your neck and your head, you can always take the hands to the jawline or frame the face with your fingers. And if you are laying directly on the mat with no bolster, release the pose now. Just come to lay down on your stomach, turn your head to one side, let those arms rest next to the body, palms to face the ceiling. If you are on the bolster, bring your hips back, bring one block with you to rest the forehead. If the shoulders are happy enough to let those hands fall over the bolster, do so. Otherwise, hands next to the feet. We're only here for a very brief moment. Do breathe into your back. And let's release, coming on up. So the next posture, you can use your bolster if you've got it. I'm going to use my blocks. It's personal choice. If you've only got one block, you can always use that one block and then maybe a rolled up towel as well. So I'm creating a T-shape with my blocks, a little bit of space between the two. So a couple of choices here depending on what's going on with your knees. So option one will be a butterfly pose. You'll be reclining onto your blocks, keeping the soles of the feet together, knees out nice and wide. If your hips need support here, you can always use rolled up towels or extra blocks underneath for support. Otherwise, we're going to come into half saddle or half hero and half butterfly. So I'm going to start with my right leg, placing my right foot next to the hip and just rolling the calf muscle out of the way. Make sure the top of the foot is on the mat. Avoid turning the foot out to the side as this can start to twist in the knee, which is not a good idea. So keeping your left leg bent, knee pointing up to the ceiling, begin to recline, and as you do, lift up the hips and try and tuck your tailbone under. Looking for your blocks. Once you've found your blocks, wiggle or heel toe the left foot close to the right thigh and then let that left knee fall out to the side. So left leg's in butterfly, right leg's in saddle or hero. And of course, feel free to find your mudra. And closing the eyes down. So this particular variation with the legs, the right leg is going to stimulate the stomach meridian while the left leg is focusing on the spleen. For yogis who are in butterfly pose, either stay as you are, or if you need to relieve those hips, you can bend the knees or straighten and relax the legs. Those in half butterfly, half saddle, we're going to change sides. So turn those palms down. Take your left knee to the ceiling, sole of the foot to the mat. Tuck in your chin and bring yourself up. Then we'll release that right leg. Bring your left leg around. Remember, as you start to recline, to lift and scoop or tuck your tailbone under, because there is a tendency here to jam or crunch in the lower back, which we want to avoid. So right foot moving close to the left thigh and then allowing that knee to fall out. Finding your mudra. Checking the position of your tongue, the softness in your jaw, and the tone in the throat. And let's prepare to release the pose. Turning those palms down. If you're in half butterfly, half saddle, point the right knee to the ceiling, sole of the foot to the floor. If you're in full butterfly, bring those knees together. Tucking in the chin, pushing down through the palms, bringing yourself up. Feel free to take a brief Dandasana, staff pose. So this is an active pose here. Try to push those palms down and forward, toes pointing to the ceiling, quads are engaged, kneecaps pulling up. Little tone here through the hip flexors. Well done. Now 2 choices for your next pose. If you don't have a bolster, I just want you to recline onto your back and you'll come into a recline twist. So I'll leave that up to you as to what feels good, how that twist looks. You might choose to just take your knee over, prop your knee with your block, or if you like, you can cross your left leg over the right and bring those knees down, again supporting with the block. Otherwise, for those with a bolster, we're going to take a prone twist. So bolster running parallel to the long side of your mat, sitting with your right hip next to the bolster. If your hips need support here, you can always place a block in between those thighs. Hands are either side. Inhale to lengthen the spine, and then as you exhale, bring the navel down. And head can turn either direction, whichever feels better for your neck. If you are able to take your mudra, please do so. So twists are very nourishing for the spine. They're a wonderful counter stretch for either forward or back bends. They're also excellent to stimulate digestion. Here I always encourage a longer exhalation. So I'm going to count your next breath just to set the pace. Of course, breathe against my count and ignore it if there is any strain. We're going to inhale for 4, hold for 2, exhale for 6. When you inhale, feel the navel expand against the bolster, or if you're reclined on your back, feel the lower belly and the lower back expand. Then as you exhale, drawing the belly in towards the spine. So let's all breathe out together. And inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, holding 1, 2, exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, holding 1, 2. You might like to continue that count in your mind. And let's follow the next inhalation out of the pose. If you're reclined, simply change sides. If you are in your prone variation, you might like to come to your knees or take a brief downward facing dog before changing sides. Taking your mudra. And again, I encourage you to find that longer exhalation. I'll let you count your breath. Let's follow the next inhalation out of the pose. So if you are reclined, stay reclined. We are moving into Savasana, or pentacle as the yin yogis like to call it. So taking up as much space on your mat. Palms to face the ceiling, and I encourage you to find your mudra once again. Be sure to tuck the shoulders under, softening the forehead, and letting the tongue now fall heavy on the floor of the mouth. Taking this time to just be. And let's inhale a little deeper now, bringing your awareness back. Swallow if the mouth is dry, or run your tongue over your teeth. Wiggling toes and fingers, following any urges to move or stretch. Rolling to your preferred side when you're ready. And then finding your way up to seated. Let's bring our hands to prayer. Then move the hands to the third eye center for clarity of thought. Fingertips lower to the lips for purity and honesty in our speech. And hands to the heart center for love and compassion in all that we do. Thanks, yogis. I hope you enjoyed the practice. If so, do give me the thumbs up. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to the channel and you enjoyed the class, please do so. It's the best way to support free yoga on YouTube. Have a lovely day.